Hi, my name is David Clair, and today I'm going to show you the most effective way to produce a high-quality French polish finish in under an hour. All right, so once again, my name is David. Why would you want to take my advice on learning how to French polish? Well, first and foremost, I am a professional restorer of antiques and artwork. My business is currently in downtown Nashville, Tennessee, although for years I operated in the Washington, D.C. area. Some of my clients include the White House, the Smithsonian Museum, the IMF, the World Bank, and here in Nashville, I'm doing mostly celebrities and high-end interior design work. But I've been producing French polish finishes essentially for 32 years. I started French polishing in 1995, and there's lots of ways to do French polishing. I'm sure there's lots of people that'll show up in the comments that'll tell me I'm all wrong, but I've been doing this for a long, long time, 3 decades now, and I've done it lots of different ways over the years. I've adjusted my techniques, I've changed materials. I've done it, I think, pretty much every way possible to do this type of work. But I've got a method that I'm using right now that I think is the best method. It's one of the fastest methods for producing a really high quality French polish finish on a bare piece of wood. Of course, you can do this on almost any piece of wood. And just technically speaking, you can French polish almost any wooden surface. Quite frankly, you can French polish over marble, you can French polish over canvas, as well as wood and other surfaces. So I'm gonna walk you through the process. I'm gonna make it really quick and efficient. If you have any questions, just post them down in the comments and I'll be making sure that I read those and check them out. So stick around, we're gonna show you how this all works out. So the most important thing when you're doing French polishing is really to make sure that you're working with a good clean surface. Behind me here, I've got a small piece. And again, if you're practicing, make sure you start with small sections first. In my course I teach, we send out 12-inch by 12-inch squares. And I'll link that course at the end of this video. For here, you see I got a small American Empire tabletop that is book match mahogany. And it's already been sanded down and cleaned off of all pre-existing finish. And this is gonna be the piece that we're gonna start on. So let me show you all the materials you're gonna want. All right, let me show you all the materials that we're gonna be using for this process. It's pretty straightforward, and all this stuff you can buy online. It's not very hard to find. First and foremost, you're gonna wanna make sure that you have nice lint-free diapers. You can buy these on Amazon. They come like this, and we're gonna use these as primarily making our what they would call a rubber or a pad that we're gonna put our finish on with. Next, you're gonna wanna make sure you have some good high quality 4-0 steel wool. You can buy this again on Amazon or at your local hardware store. In addition to that, this is what we're gonna use as our seal coat. This is just plain shellac. You can buy this in a can. If you're in the United States, they sell this at most Ace hardware stores. But you can also probably buy it at just about any Lowe's or Home Depot or things like that. I'm sure they have it on Amazon as well. And again, this is gonna be our primer coat basically. The next thing you're gonna wanna have is a nice high quality denatured alcohol. If you can get 200 proof denatured alcohol, it's the best thing to get, but just about any denatured alcohol will work. But if you can get this higher grade stuff, I'd recommend it. The next thing we're gonna want is a lubricant. The lubricant that I prefer to use is General Finishes Orange Oil. You can buy this on Amazon, or you can also get these at Woodcraft, and I'm sure you can probably get it on General Finishes website as well. And then next we're on to our actual padding lacquer, and Lubricite 77 is a sponsor of mine, and they produce a really high quality padding lacquer. We're gonna use this one here in addition with another product that they make as well, which is their hardener for this. You don't necessarily need the hardener, but if you're doing a table it's gonna see a lot of surface, it's nice to have some of this hardener that you can add into this. You just basically add a few drops of this into your mix of this, and that's all you need to do. So let me walk you through the process. All right, so to start off, it's real simple. Basically, you're gonna take one of your diapers, you're gonna cut it down to a small manageable section, and this is literally all you need to do. Now, I will just tell everybody out there, those keyboard commandos, I know you can create this into a small ball and do all that. That's a lot of extra work you don't need to do. If you wanna do that, you certainly can. Again, I've French polished thousands upon thousands of pieces of furniture in my career. This is all you need to do. This again is the quick method to do this. If you want to get into really high-end detailed work that you just chase this to perfection, you're of course free to do so, but I always like what Salvador Dali said is never pursue perfection because you'll never achieve it. But that being the case, like I said, just cut your rag down to this. I like to get mine down like this. I fold it over a few times till I get something that's about like this that I can put in my hand. That's really all you need to do. And then the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna take your can of shellac, which I have here. Of course, you can pour this into a little graduated cylinder, a cup, or anything of that. All we're really gonna do is we're gonna just kind of dip this straight into the shellac and let that saturate into the rag a bit. And you'll notice I've got my surface here with the grain running from left to right for the most part. You generally wanna polish with the grain. It's not that urgent, but it's always gonna give you a nicer result if you do. Make sure you wipe it off. You get any obvious signs of debris, steel wool, lint, anything like that off the surface. You're gonna take this rag and you're just gonna lightly coat this surface from right to left, all the way, just like you're staining a table surface, and just continue to do this process back and forth until you have the whole table covered. As a side note, it's a good idea that when you're doing this to keep your lines as perpendicular and straight as you possibly can. What you want to avoid is doing these big arched movements like this. You want to force your elbow to push outward to keep your line as straight as you can possibly get it. It's always good to have technique that is proficient and effective, and when you're doing arches like that, it just doesn't end well. So practice working from straight lines right to left. And again, just fill this item up all the way from front to back, and then when that dries, you can come from back to front. You want to get about 2 to 3 coats of this shellac sealer on. All right, so I got 3 passes of shellac on this to seal this table down. Now also, it should be obvious, but if it's not, the shellac is an air drying finish, so it's good to have nice ventilation. I got a small fan blowing here, and then I'm gonna take my rag that I've used my shellac with, I'm gonna drop it in a container that's airtight that I can close up, and it'll stay pliable for a few days. You can always just resaturate this with some denatured alcohol and use this rag over and over and over as your rag for sealers. So I'm gonna let this dry for just a few minutes, and then we'll come back and we're gonna go into the next step. All right, about 2 minutes have passed. This shellac dries really fast, especially when you got a fan blowing out. So now I'm gonna take my 4-aught steel wool, I'm just gonna make a small pad in my hand, and I'm just gonna rub from right to left, and all I really wanna do is just knock the high spots down and prepare it for the next coat of shellac. So just like this. All right, so now I've got my diaper in hand here, and again, just fold it over, get something that's manageable that you can hold into your palm and keep the surface of it fairly taut like that. I've got my lubricite here, and I'm not using any additives at this point. There's gonna be no orange oil and none of the hardener, just plain lubricite. And what you wanna do is really control the saturation level, I guess, of the fluid on your rag. You'll see frequently me doing this, and all I'm really trying to do is force the fluid down into the rag a little bit, which is a good practice to have. You wanna get something like this. And again, we're gonna do the same process as we did with the shellac. You're just starting from right to left, and you're gonna go up, back, and up about 3 times, just like this. And it's worth noting that when you're doing this, you're gonna have to frequently add fluid to your rag. So just kind of watch how the rag is responding. And once you see that it's drying out and not really depositing any fluid, go ahead and add some more fluid to your rag. You're gonna wanna make sure that you let these dry in between coats. So again, with the 3 passes of shellac, you let it dry 3 to 5 minutes at the most. I've got literally just 3 passes of lubricite on here. I'm gonna go ahead and let this dry for a few minutes. I'll put my rag back in my jar here so it doesn't dry out on us. And then I've got a fan blowing here on the surface, and I'm gonna allow this maybe 3 to 5 minutes to go ahead and dry between coats so that you have a nice hard surface to work with as you apply extra coats. Okay, so this is drying now. I've got 3 coats of shellac on here from front to back, 3 passes, and I've got 3 passes of lubricite on here. This is a really quick. So far, I'm not even invested in maybe 10 minutes of my time. And as you can see, we already have a pretty decent finish on here. And I'd like those of you out there learning this to keep in mind that French polishing is art. It's not really a science. There are lots of different ways to do this. Everybody probably has their own favorite methodology. This is really geared more towards people who are learning this from scratch. If you've never done this work, I don't want you to feel like it's overwhelming or intimidating. It's very simple work to do. And you can perfect this. There's lots of different tricks. I've worked with many, many other professionals that do the exact same type of work I do. I've seen other guys do it different ways, but this way is very effective, and I encourage you to practice and play with these. Play with the viscosity, play with the materials, play with the timing of drying, sanding between coats, grain fill. There's lots of other ways to chase this, but like I said, this is the fastest way that I've come up with in 32 years. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna take my piece of steel wool again. I'm gonna do the same as I did before. I'm just gonna rub this from one side to the next. And again, all I'm really attempting to do here is knock off some of the high spots and sort of prep the surface to get it ready for another coat that we're gonna lay on here. And you wanna make sure you go from end to end. Make sure that you're paying close attention to your entire surface. So, check your corners, check your edges, make sure you have pretty even uniform coverage. All right, now I'm gonna get into the meat potatoes of the actual French polishing. We have a pretty good seal coat on here, and we're gonna wanna buff this up to make it as nice of a sheen as we possibly can. So again, I'm taking now my 3rd piece of rag. It's a clean rag, and I'm just wiping again off the steel wool fibers. You could use cheesecloth or terry cloth or something like that, but it doesn't matter. The idea is just to wipe the surface and get it clean. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our rag that we used with the Lubricite, with our padding lacquer. And there's lots of other padding lacquers on the market. There's I've used so many. I started with Qualisol, which is a product that is, I think, still on the market. Then there was Koenig made a really good special French polish. It was called Special French Polish 676, I think, or 767. They discontinued that product and it made me cry. But there's also Rapid Pad. There's a bunch of products by Balin and something like that. But I really prefer Lubricite at this point in my career. All right, so we're gonna take the Lubricite at this point and we're gonna reapply it to the rag, but this time we're gonna add a little bit of lubricant on our rag, which is gonna be the orange oil here. So orange oil, you can take this, you're just gonna add, let's see if I get this, just a couple drops on the surface, nothing major, just like that. But what that lubricant's gonna allow you to do is to do some circle padding on here, which is gonna help you build up this finish. So again, we start at the bottom and we work our way up, but then this time, after, say, you get about a 12-inch area polished out, let's just do half this table here. This table is about a 2-foot wide table. And once you get that done, what you're gonna do is circle padding. So this technique is a little different, and what we're doing here is polishing, just as it sounds, in a circle. So here we go. Just like this, very simple. Just like you're waxing a car. You don't wanna apply too much pressure, but enough pressure that you're getting the finish to deposit onto the surface. And again, be uniform in what you're doing. You want to make sure that you're getting pretty even coverage. All right, so now I've circle padded this item. And after I do circle padding, I always finish with left to right straight lines, just because I don't like the little nickel rolls to show up in my dried surfaces. At least not initially. And also understand that you start with your heaviest coat when it comes to French polishing. You're starting with a pretty heavy coat of shellac from the beginning, and then as you layer it up, your coats are getting thinner and thinner and thinner as you go along, and you're really just buffing them out as they dry. This lacquer finish takes about a day or two to really dry all the way fully, so you want to be very, very careful that you don't smudge it or leave things on the surface once you finish polishing it. But again, after you do this circle padding process, you're gonna wanna always just make sure that you go from left to right, and just kind of leave it at that. So this right here, like I said, I've got basically, this is my third pass now on all this. And this will sit and dry for, at this point, I probably should let it dry about 5 minutes before we move on, but we're almost done. I mean, you can see the results already. I'm not even more than 10, 12 minutes into this process, and we already have a pretty nicely produced sheen that hasn't really been refined all the way yet, but for the average homeowner or somebody that's doing an antique shop, or if you're just trying to refinish furniture at home, this is gonna suit most people. I would recommend if you stopped here, of course you can always chase this further, but if you stopped here, always allow your finishes to dry about 4 to 8 hours before you place anything on the surfaces. But let's let this dry for a few more minutes and we'll chase it out just a little bit further. All right, now I've allowed the surface to dry for about 5 minutes, and we're gonna do the final pass here. Essentially on this stage, it's almost done and dry. You're gonna wanna check your surface to make sure that you don't have any streaks from maybe your initial round of shellac or anything in the nature. So just look it over. If you see any spots, you can always take your 4/0 steel wool and just scuff that flat again. You can also use, if you really wanna build this into a really, really high sheen, like high gloss finish, you can always take 600 grit or 800 grit sandpaper, definitely nothing more coarse than that, and just kind of lightly rub the surface down. And so now we're gonna add pretty much my last and final coat of French polishing on this. So I'm taking another fresh, clean rag. And in this container here, I've got the Lubricite 77, which I've pre-mixed this before, but again, I initially filled this entire jar with Lubricite 77, and I added about half a teaspoonful of this product into the batch. Again, you can play with your mixes a bit too, but you don't want to use too much of this, but this will act as a hardening agent in the surface. But I've already done that off camera before because I carry this around with me. So I'm gonna take some of that, which is, again, just that mix. I'm gonna put it back on my rag here. I'm gonna saturate my rag pretty well. And I'm gonna go ahead and add another drop or two of this lubricant oil to the surface of my rag. And I'm gonna go ahead and continue to polish this. I may do some circle pads, I may do some straight lines, but it's just basically buffing the surface out just a little bit further, because primarily we're done at this point. We really just want to buff this out, make it look nice. So here we go with one last bit. And all right, and then your last stage, really all you need to do is wipe off your lubricating oils. And this is where the denatured alcohol will come into play. Just make sure you have a clean rag. If you used up all your rags, it's okay. Just get a nice new clean rag and just put a light amount of denatured alcohol on your rag. You don't need a ton. And you're just gonna lightly wipe the surface, just left to right. You can, if you look across the surface, sometimes you can see the oil pool up almost like oil on water. You can just see little drops, and you'll just take a little bit of this and just gently wipe the surface in which you'll be taking off most of that oil. Real simple process, just like this. And once this is done, you'll allow this to dry for about 24 to 48 hours. And of course, if you're not happy with the results you got, you just continue to repeat that process over and over again using finer and finer grit sandpaper and a lighter and lighter coat of shellac. And that's essentially it. So let's have a look at this. Let me put it back together. We'll have a look at it under some normal lighting conditions with some sunlight coming in the room. We can have a final look at our piece. All right, and here we go. We got the completed Victorian table behind me. As you can see, the finish looks really nice. It's a pretty straightforward process, but if you're interested in learning this one-on-one, I do teach this class via Zoom. If you go to my website, there's a link down below. You can click on that and you can purchase this French polishing workshop with me directly, which again is a one-on-one Zoom. And also, if you have any questions or comments, just post them below. And then if you've watched the video this long, please do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, and also feel free to share and like this video. And if you have any questions, like I said, I'd be happy to answer them. Also, I'm in downtown Nashville, Tennessee in my restoration studio. It's at 1124 4th Avenue South. If you send me a direct message, I'll respond to each and every one of you. Thanks so much. Hope you guys had a great day. Thanks for watching.